In this video, I'm going to go over how you can use stage mode in SceneForge Studio to edit and manipulate objects in your 3D scenes. You can see I have this scene here with a couple objects already in place, and we're going to use this as the basis for our video. Stage mode is broken up into a couple main panels. In the center, you have your 3D viewport. This is where you can actually move around the scene and select objects to move them around. To move the camera, all you have to do is left click and drag to rotate around the center point of the scene, or if you press F, the object you're currently focused on. To pan around the scene, you can right click and drag, or on a trackpad use 2 fingers and drag. This moves it forward, back, left, or right. You can do the same thing with the arrow keys, or if the left mouse button is held down, W, A, S, and D. Additionally, if you hold Alt, you can use up and down, or W and S, to move the camera vertically up and down through your scene. To bring an object into your scene, simply go to the Library tab on the left, select a category. In this case, we're just using regular 3D objects, and click and drag them into your scene. When an object is selected, which you can do by clicking on it, you'll see it gets highlighted in orange, and the transform gizmo will appear at the base of the object. By dragging these arrows, you can move the object on the X, Y, and Z axis, or drag on the plane to move along the ground, or the X and Z axis. You can switch between move, rotate, and scale by clicking the buttons at the top right-hand corner. Here we have move, rotate, and scale. You can scale on each axis individually, or if you hold Shift, you can scale on all of them uniformly. And of course, if I make a mistake, I can press these arrows to undo, or do Control or Command Z. The Visuals tab on the left over here is where you can control various properties of the way the scene looks, such as time of day, lighting, and post-processing effects. The next video will go in-depth on these options. Back in the Library tab, you can also import your own 3D models, as we'll go over in a future video, bring in lights, cameras, dynamic objects, primitives, and materials, as we'll talk about later as well. On the right-hand side, you have this menu that contains both the scene outline as well as the selected object properties. The scene outline at the top shows a list of every object in your scene. You can use this to instantly switch between them by clicking, show and hide various objects, and of course reorganize this list if you'd like. At the bottom, we have the Object Properties menu. This menu changes depending on what object is selected. As you can see, different object types have different properties. For example, lights allow you to control the intensity and temperature, while cameras allow you to control the focal length, focus distance, and other properties of the camera. Down at the bottom, we have the timeline, which will get its own video dedicated to it, but that is how you can interact with keyframes and create animations for your characters and objects in your scene. To delete an object, simply select it, then press backspace or delete on your keyboard. And that is an overview of stage mode. The next video will go over lighting and scene visuals, so I'll see you then.